Hi everyone. I've been on a salmon kick lately and wanted to change it up a bit, so I made this version of poke with salmon and gochujang. This is a really simple thing to make and it's super tasty, so let's get started. I know this is not a traditional poke, but this is a version that my kids love and request all the time, so I have to make it. First we need to julienne red onion and thin sliced green onions. Then we need to chop some garlic, microplane some ginger, and chop cilantro. I chopped the leaves and the stems of the cilantro. There's just a ton of flavor in the stems, so why waste them? Next we add gochujang, which will give us some spice and flavor, low sodium soy sauce, sesame oil, sesame seeds, and some water. The water helps thin out the gochujang because it's a pretty thick paste, and lime juice for a touch of acid. Then, just mix this all together and let it sit for a while we cut our salmon. I do use a different cutting board whenever I butcher meat or cut any raw fish. Now grab the salmon fillet. This is about a 10-ounce fillet of Scottish salmon, which is enough for about 2 people. Make sure you double check for any small bones, then cut off the skin. When you cut this, it doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure that they're all bite-sized pieces. And if you're worried about the salmon being raw, here's a link to my sushi salmon video that goes over the whole curing process for the salmon. Then just add all the salmon to our marinade and mix it together. You ideally want this to sit for at least 30 minutes in the fridge before you eat it so the marinade magic can happen. Usually, poke is served with steamed rice and pickled cucumbers, but I'm going to make some crispy sushi rice, and to do this, we take our hot cooked short grain rice and mix in our sushi vinegar. And here's a link to my sushi rice video that goes over the whole process of making the vinegar. When you're done mixing it, put it in a small tray with plastic wrap and let it cool down overnight in the fridge. You want to work the rice to bring out the starch so when we cook this again it'll stick together. And here's our mixed cooled rice, and you can cut this into any shape that you want, but I'm just going to cut it into squares just because it's easier. Now to cook this you need a good amount of sesame oil in the pan. Make sure that your pan is hot before you add the rice, then just cook it on medium-low heat until it's crispy and golden on each side. And I move them around just so I know that they're not sticking to the pan. So the salmon poke sat for about 30 minutes, and the easiest way for me to tell it's ready is the onions are starting to get a little soft. So now that everything is ready, we just need to assemble our rice and poke. This isn't traditional poke, but it's really delicious. If you're not a big fan of salmon, this would be great with lots of other fish too. These are super tasty with the warm crispy rice, cold salmon, and the gochujang just adds that little bit of depth and spice to the salmon. Thanks for watching my video on how to make salmon poke. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you next time.